And now we are Tron, apparently. Or we're at least slightly Tron. I believe the robot in... the little robot girl that was helping in the Gunpla store or the arcade or both has a virus, and we are here to destroy it because it is, of course, taking the form of Gundam models. Because this is Gundam Breaker. But why not? I mean, if you're going to have a computer virus, it should at least be in the form of Gundam models. Pardon me if I'm a little bit cruddy. Still getting over the cold, just got back from the store, a little worn out, but, you know, I'll live. I'm not sure what half of the stuff I have equipped is at this point. I did switch out my GN, or my bazooka, whichever one I was using for the GN sniper rifle, so I could start learning its special techniques. That is... Matter of fact, that's right, I'd used a sniper rifle before, and I have both of the EXs, so... Looks like I'm using both of them. I forgot I'd used one, that's horrible. Again, brain full of, you know, gunk right now, so... Yes, and a lot of Master Gundams, or at least Master Gundam arms here, so... You're going to see things just occasionally grab me with Darkness Finger and knock me away. Okay, Gaffron legs. Thought they were Nobel legs, but it's hard to tell when they, you know, are painted. And here we have just a straight-up Jinx. Which, yeah. It's funny, I always had a harder time getting to Jinx from GNX than I did to Jim from GM. I think just because the hyphen throws me. But getting a lot of good rarity Jinx parts here. And yeah, like I said, a lot of the Gaffrons have Master Gundam arms, so I am going to get hit with Darkness Finger. Love those binders. But yeah, I made one pass at recording this and wound up blathering about Tron for what felt like forever, so I decided to restart it. But I do love me some Tron. I still haven't seen the sequel, though, because it just... I didn't think the production design really reflected the art style of the original very well, and the original just lived by that art style, man, because to be honest, it's kind of a slow movie otherwise. It did not have a lot going for it without it, so you kind of needed that, you know, people with talent like Sid Mead, and just like every, you know, superhero movie and everything since... For the last, like, 10 years, it just wound up being... the Tron designs just wound up being, like, textured pleather. Big whoop. So, I have very strong designs about costume design, and... Man, that was great. And I don't really think... was it Tron Legacy was the sequel? I don't really think it held up to it very well, in my opinion. But it's neither here nor there. Was trying not to get off on a super long jag about that, and I think this time I've succeeded a little. But there's still turrets, as you can tell, because I keep getting hit. Yes, and that was the Chokyuhao Denadon, I think. Forget whether it's Denadon or Denyeadon, but, you know. They may have pronounced it slightly differently between the Japanese and US versions, as happens frequently enough. Ah, that's a good group to spin into, and so I will. Or so I did, actually. Pardon me. And yeah, that's... Blue Rarity Master Gundam arms. That's worth having. And... the beam scissors and most, I think, axe weapons have a built-in lunge to compensate for their rather short range. So you kind of... If you press the button too far away, you'll just end up kind of... moving forward a couple of feet to no effect whatsoever. Oh, some straight-up Master Gundams, looks like. Thought the Gaffron things were using parts in them, but these may not be hybrids. They may just be straight-up Gaffrons and Master Gundams in these dark colors that we're fighting. Hard to say. But yeah, love the binders. Redlined them. That's a shame. And got knocked up in the air. Lost my head. They've made it a lot harder to fall off the side of the world in this one, which is nice. Because I seem to recall that was kind of a thing in Breaker 2, at least on the stages with the base jabbers. The rest of them, not as much, but the base jabbers, I remember that very clearly. Okay, we have to get to the far side of that spire to be able to hit the turrets, so that one I can hit pretty well from here, though. And I think Zal is on the other side, because, yeah, he's still here with me. And he's the one who gave me, like, the hint about what the story was actually about here. Because he's got the English version, as I mentioned, so... Ah, blue rarity Gaffron arms. It's like, oh yes, if my rifle is... Oh well, too late now, but... Well, I got the turret anyway, so there. Man, I like the idling animation for the funnels. That's really cool. I'm going to have to see if, in this one, if you equip different funnel-bearing parts, if they all end up working together, or if you can summon them, or if you end up summoning them separately. I kind of hope they all work in tandem, because, man, let's see. Let's see, the Kshatriya arms, probably New Gundam, High New Gundam, maybe? Or, no, that would, High New or regular New would both have 6 fin funnels, and a Cubely backpack would give more funnels. I'll have to figure out what the most funnel-intensive build is, because being able to just sit and harass things eternally with my funnels would be great. And from what people told me, that is the most common thing for people to do in builds for this game. But now, let's face it, when you get down to it, funnels are kind of overpowered. Yep, another Master Gundam hitting me with that attack. I'm set to spin, but I don't have a good vector yet, so... But I do have binders, so... I was looking to see if I could spin between them with the binder's beam saber, but... not particularly effectively. I wonder if there are any legs with funnels on them. I forget what the little remote shield things are on the Caradum Gundam. But they're of course officially not funnels. They probably would not work with them. And I'm sure Dragoons would be considered separate too, because they're technically not funnels. You know, it's funny, just thinking about it, I'd forgotten that one of the most, obnoxious things about Gundam Seed Destiny is that, I mean, not only is Kira Yamato magically right about everything and everyone, but also the fact that all of a sudden he's also a new type. Because, yeah, new types do exist in Gundam Seed. In the first series, like... Mula Flaga is supposed to be the last, I think, natural-born new type, and there are several clones of him around. But, at least if I'm remembering properly, it's been... Oh, Gundam Versago parts. It's been many moons. But... Ah, got a down stab, good. But then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, for some reason, Kira is a new type. I mean, he was supposed to be like the strongest possible coordinator, yes, but, just... That was just kind of there was a lot in the middle of Destiny that just kind of started wearing on you after a while, but that was like the oh come on moment. Oops, that sure didn't work. There we go, that's a little better. Sniper rifle is ready. And there we go. But yeah, if I'm misremembering any of Gundam Seed and Gundam Seed Destiny, I apologize. It has been a long time. I think they're about to see re-release on Blu-ray, if they haven't already. And maybe one day I'll give another look, but I don't know. Just, like I said, the tail end of Gundam Seed Destiny, like everything after the Freedom Gundam is destroyed, is just kind of crappy in my opinion, so that's just me. Like I said, sorry if I'm tired and cranky, still getting over the cold. And, managed to get some shots in. Managed to overheat my rifle doing it. Oh, I didn't even notice I'd used burst mode. Yeah, I'm doing great. And got that. I still need to perfect Trans Am, but maybe I'll manage that in some of the bounty missions I intend to be doing. So, meanwhile, I'll stab things. Let's see, sniper rifle. I think the turrets are the objective, considering they seem to be the big exclamation points I'm not paying enough attention to. You know, it's one of those games where I at least make as much of an effort as I can to kill all the supplemental enemies first to get all the items. Another thing that I do end up doing that with is Tactics Ogre, which I'm trying to replay yet again on the PSP. It's like the 5th time I've tried to play it, counting the PlayStation and PSP versions. And, it's a good game. It can be a very frustrating game and sometimes a very tedious game. But it really is excellent, and you can see why when Yasumi Matsuno wound up at Squaresoft, the first thing they said was, hey, do one of those for Final Fantasy. And, man, I think the 20th anniversary of Final Fantasy Tactics is like early next year. I cannot even tell you how exciting that was at the time, because Tactics Ogre was like one of those great lost games, because, you know, it was not actually lost per se, but it was one of those things they were talking about maybe bringing over for the Super NES, but just it never happened. And to be honest, with Nintendo's policies at the time, it could not have happened, because it was just the subject matter is just far too outside Nintendo's wheelhouse to really be a very easy thing to translate. And, you know, getting around all the war and religion and death in that game while, you know, meeting the translation limit would have been a completely unenviable job for any translator. It's a very good thing when it finally did come over, it was for the PlayStation 1, where presumably there was a lot more space. And we just jumped down into, that's the virus core. So we're nearing the end of the stage here. So we're getting instructions, I think, on what you have to do, which I think what it boils down to is kill all the flunkies and then attack the core when it's vulnerable. So, you know, basic gaming strategy. Nothing really fancy. But hey, green rarity, I'll take that. And there's another Jinx. Or is it a Jinx 3? You know, it's funny, I seem to recall there were parts of the Jinx and Jinx 3 in Breaker 2, but never the Jinx 2. I'm not sure there was a big difference anyway, or if it even existed on screen. Again, Gundam 00, not one of those ones I watched a lot of. I watched enough to catch the highlights of the first season, enough to find out that there's a character named Bring Stabity in the second season, which is the best thing ever, and that was it. And, let's see, still have not gotten a chance to shoot the core, or have not paid enough attention to, I'm not sure which. But, let's see, breaking things, hurting people, well, hurting models. Imaginary models at that. I mean, considering that these are supposed to be like computer viruses or something, these are basically double fictional. And, let's see, can we attack the core yet? I imagine if we could, Zala would be hitting it, but I'm pretty sure that big black ring around it is in fact a barrier. Yep, especially since it just went down. And I really kind of need to be hitting the thing. There we go. Zala probably just clued me in, to be honest, because, yeah. And I do like that it, you know, sheds gunpla parts when you start attacking. That's great. Yep, the barrier's about to go back up before we can finish it, I bet. Master Gundam parts. Come on, shoot it again. Almost there. There! It is destroyed. That's probably the close of the stage, and that just leaves part sorting, so I'll talk about that for a couple of minutes, and like that. I've got one more stage like this that needs to be narrated, and it is a doozy. But after that, I'm going to go back to live commenting, because I'll probably try and get some single-player rounds in over this weekend, so thank you all for, bearing with me on this, piecemeal way of doing it. Yeah, I unlocked Hyper Mode, because I got some Master Gundam parts, finally. Megasonic Gun Cannon, yeah, that's for the Gundam Versago torso, and I missed what the top one was. Jinx Beam Sabers, Versago Beam Sabers, and Brawling Hands of various rarities and levels. I'm not even going to try and say which ones, because you can see it, so, apologies if, for not reading that out. Let's see, Jinx, short beam rifles, Gundam Versago's Strike Shooter, I have no idea what that is, and, more short barrel rifles that are not rare. Yeah, Strike Shooter. Okay. I didn't remember that. Of course, it's been even longer than that since I've watched Gundam X, probably. Jinx, Master Gundam, Versago, Gaffron. Oh, so many Jinx parts. Like one level 9, and the rest are just junk. And of course, one rare one with a skill on it, and we'll hang on to that to fuse them. Highest level Gaffron head is 7. And, let's see, Jinx, Master, Versago, Gaffron, heads, and just about anything I got in both rare and common, so hey. A purple rarity Versago torso and level 8 at that. That's probably going to end up going on my new monstrosity here. I am going to change up parts, but when I do, I'm going to try and keep them color coordinated, so. Let's see. Arms, Master Gundam Arms, Gaffron, more Master parts, Jinx. That's pretty much, and of course Versago, so pretty much those are what we fought this round, so that's pretty much what you're going to see, so that being the case, it seems like a great place to call it, so that'll do it for today, and we will be back tomorrow with more. See you then.